Thanks for tuning in to another episode of the Shade and Shit Talking Podcast. I'm your host, TK, and as always, I thank you for tuning in. Today's episode will be a follow-up, or rather a continuation, of an episode that I did 2 weeks ago that was talking about the importance of mentorship. Well, today will be more specific, where we focus on the importance of the male black teacher to our kids, more specifically the boys. Now, joining me to break this down will be my friend and 4th grade elementary teacher, Mr. Jason Goins. So please sit back, relax, listen, and take to heart the information that he's given, because it's all based on the love and desires to improve the lives and futures of our children, to watch them flourish and grow. So joining me right now for this segment of the Shade and Shit Talking Podcast is my boy, Jason Goins, whom I mentioned earlier on the promo for this week. Now, he is a public school teacher from Hattiesburg who I've known for quite a long time. And I'm telling you, this is a real good guy. And by the end of this, you will know him just as well as I do. So without further ado, welcome to the podcast, Jay.
Man, thank you for having me, TK. Thank you for having me.
So listen, man, with so much going on in the news about schools popping up and with school getting ready to start back, I found it interesting reading that I came across about black male teachers. So that's when I reached out to you, because actually, out of all the people that I know, you are the only male teacher that I know. So that's why I reached out to you. So with that being said, first of all, tell everybody what grade you teach, and, let us know what made you become a teacher.
Well, I teach 4th grade here in Memphis, in the Memphis area, and out of the Frazier area. Catholic school, actually, not public school, but it's a Catholic school. But I have taught public schools before in Hattiesburg, but right now I'm teaching at a Catholic school. But it's Catholic 4th grade, and to be honest, it's just something that God touched me to do, because I had no vision of becoming a teacher. I had got my degree in political science from Alcorn State, and my aspirations were to become a lawyer one day, but circumstances made it where I ended up in the education field, and I hadn't looked back since. I'm not regretting anything.
No, it is interesting to me, because you really have to be called by a higher power to teach, because of so many obstacles that teachers face, whether it be terrible unions, horrible funding from the government, like what we got now, severely low pay. And I personally think teachers are one of the lowest paid professions in the U.S. and it's not right. Then you have somebody like Betsy DeVos and the things that she stands for that are in direct contrast to the well-being of the public school system. Now, with that said, what are some of the things that people on the outside looking in, don't really understand about teaching?
It's a thankless job. Every teacher will tell you it's a thankless job. I mean, you don't get the praise that you should for the time that you put in for it. But at the same time, we do it anyway because of our love for the kids and the love of growth of our society. So with that being said, the Betsy DeVoses of the world that take the funding away from public schooling. You can take the funding away from public schooling, but you can't take the love of that teacher for her classroom or his classroom. They're going to push on regardless of if they ain't got no money or they do have the money. The great teachers make do with what they have. And it's a lot of us out there. And we are fighting, scratching tooth and nail daily with whatever that we can afford.
Now, you just said something that was very interesting to me, fighting tooth and nail daily. Also, the fact that it's a thankless job. And I know school is different from when, you and I came up, because back in the day, when I showed out of school, I got my ass beat. My mama came up there and beat my ass again. And, the parents worked really hard with the teachers to ensure that we got an education that wasn't up that bullshit. Nowadays, I've seen a shift to where most of the parents don't care, the students don't care, and that trickles down to how they treat you, the teacher, blaming you because Junior don't do his work and he got an F, but he don't come to school half the time and all of that.
And as long as our community, I don't mean to cut you off, TK, but as long as our communities keep at odds with each other, that way, that opposition is going to continue to take their funding away from the public school arena. What we have a problem with in our community is our parents already are against our schools. They come up already doing registration. They already have those attitudes. They don't come in with an attitude of, let me get to know my teacher because their teacher's going to have my child. They come in with an attitude of, let me tell this teacher what they better not do to my child. And that's the wrong way to look at it. Right. We have to work with those educators. When we were coming up, like you said, our parents, the first thing they told our teachers was, hey, put something on them and give me a call. And I'm going to come up there too, just like you said. You got a whooping there, and you got a whooping when your mama got up there. My mama was the same way. She taught in public school for 35 years. She was the same way. If she had to leave school, her job to come up there to see about me, it was on. It was on. But you don't have that nowadays. Nowadays, you fighting a battle with the public school administration and the parents. But yet and still, as I say, the good ones, they push on.
So speaking of pushing on and the battles that you fight every single day, of the school year and some during the summer, what is it that motivates you as a teacher to do this shit daily, man? What pushes you?
It's that youngin'. It's that youngin', man. It's my youngin'. Becoming a parent changes you. I mean, right. The second that child is born and they put them in your arms, it's something. Especially if you're a man, if you're a real man, and you seen a real man raise a child, you feel something when you holding that child. But it's a light that comes on when you're teaching, and a child that's struggling in an area finally gets it. You work with that child, you work with them, and you just thought, oh my goodness, he or she just not gonna get it. And then that second day, they come up and everything on the paper correct, and they got that big old look on their face of achievement. That's what makes you get up in the morning. You reaching these kids, you reaching them. They love to see you. They come give you big hugs. Hey, Mr. Goins, what's going on today? I like those shoes. Well, and I tell them, look, man, you can have shoes like this, but you got to go to class. You got to finish school. You know what I'm saying? And when you see them, when they send you those invites at the end of the year when it's graduation time, and you can have that child, and that child been gone from your class and gone on to high school and finish, and they send you that invite, man, you like, man, that's all what it's worth, And you have some that fall by the wayside too. I mean, you got to take the good and the bad with the teacher, and it's kind of like coaching, man. You have good players, and you see some that got potential to be great. Some reach that potential, some don't. I mean, but you keep on playing with the players that you got.
Right. Now, and I really see, where you're coming from, because me being a parent myself, when I had my first one, man, it was life altering. Like you said, a light comes on, you view the world in a different lens. Exactly. it isn't about me anymore. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's about this child. This child comes first. And I see that that's the type of, mentality that it takes to be a teacher. These children come first.
Exactly.
Because I know, like a lot of people saying, y'all not doing y'all job and this and that and the third, but I'm pretty sure that y'all are going above and beyond, staying late, getting up early, paying for things out of pocket, for these kids. Like how do you, maintain doing that, especially with the way that they pay you guys?
You just do it, man. You just do it. I hit the floor at 4:00 this morning. Got up there at the school by 5:30 because I wanted my classroom to be ready for my kids when they come in and everything be structured. You just do it, man. You don't know why you do it, but you do it. I'll give you another example too. All the danger that goes on. Think about the school shootings. Now let's say your child is in my class. That's not my child. My child is in a daycare somewhere. But we got an intruder. Lockdown happens. I gotta protect every one of those babies. I gotta step in front of whatever danger that is for those kids and put my life on the line for some kids that parents don't know me, not personally,
Right.
So my heart goes out to those teachers that get gunned down for no reason. You know what I'm saying? Because when they woke up that morning, they weren't thinking they weren't going back home to see they loved ones again.
Right.
So I mean, it's you don't know why you do it, you just do it. It's kind of like the men and women that serve in the military. We don't know why they join the army. They just do it, but we thank them for it. But we don't get the kind of praise that they get, although they putting themselves in a lot more danger than we are. But it's still, like I said, a thankless job.
And with and like you said, it's a thankless job, filled with a lot of arguments and fights, amongst yourself, like you said, with administrators and parents as well. But what out of all of that, out of all you do and all you see, what has been your most rewarding moment, or what do you think is the most rewarding thing that you get from teaching these kids?
Every day, man. Every day is a rewarding moment, TK. I mean, you reaching some child in some way every day, even when you don't think you are, even when you had a spat with a child and the child come up and hug you at the end of the day, you just like, man, you wouldn't just be like, get off of me, because you still hot about it, but that child forgot about it.
Right.
That child loves you to death, you know what I'm saying? But, us being grown and being human, we still have that little, but at the same time, the most rewarding, I could say, if I had to think of a time that I had the most rewarding, fulfilling moment, would have to be my very first year teaching down at Hawkins. I had a troubled youth when I first got there. I mean, this kid couldn't read. He could barely write. He was skipping school. He was just 6th grade now. He was skipping school. I mean, he was down a road of destruction. And that whole year, that first month was rough. We got into some heated arguments in each other's face, But by May, he was reading, he was writing, and when I check on him, when I go home or when I talk to his mom says, Mr. Goins, he's still going to school. Matter of fact, he even helping his brothers and sisters with their homework. And he getting ready to graduate next year. He's a junior this year. He getting ready to graduate next year, and I'm proud of him.
Man, that's got to be one hell of a feeling, man, to see, your hard work and dedication pay off.
It is, man. It's something. Me and my mom talk all the time. That's my mentor. Cause she taught, and I got aunts and uncles. My whole list of line of family were educators. But hold
on before you go on. Let me just say, shout out to Mama Goins. That's my girl, man. Anytime I come home, man, she got a plate for me. So.
Who don't love Mama G, man?
And she don't take no for an answer, man. You come over there, you gonna eat something.
Yeah, man.
So
a lot of folks don't like to share their mama. A lot of folks don't like to share their mama, but us three, me, Chip, and Tony, we, that's Mama G.
Shout out to Mama Goins, man. But my bad, man. Go ahead.
But we talk all the time, and when we talking about education and stuff like that, she just tell me, Jason, keep your head going. Keep your head down. You know, don't worry about it. Don't let your frustration show on your face. I always keep that poker face going on because your kids can tell. And so you want to keep that strength going because that's what they see and that's how they get themselves up.
It's interesting that you got your mama there as a mentor, for what you're doing, because serve as a mentor, which is something I brought up the other week on my podcast episode. I was talking about mentorship and how teachers do make a difference. But it's crazy to think that out of all the teaching force, there's only 2% that are black male. Like, how many do you see where you work at?
I'm the only black male in my school. I'm the only black
Wow.
male in my school. We just had convocation getting ready to start the school year. I think I was the only. No, I take that back. I'm mistaken. It was another guy. He was also there. There's another black teacher in the diocese of our school district as well. But yeah, it's few and far between, man. But you have those that give their time. I work with a great guy, friend of mine, Clarence Dooley Griffin, and he worked at Hawkins with me. I don't know if he's still teaching or not, but shout out to Dooley because Dooley worked very hard, and he didn't have to do that. Dooley sells cakes. He didn't have to be there. But he took a classroom because we were short on teachers, and he took a classroom and he molded that classroom into his own. So shout out to him, man.
That's what's up, man. Like preparing for this, I came across a few studies, and excuse me, both of those studies, kind of talked about how the low numbers of black teachers are associated with the academic problems and behavior problems specifically for young black males, and how it led to higher dropout rates and larger achievement gaps between them and white kids. Mm-hmm. Are you seeing that, firsthand, boots on the ground?
Well, boots on the ground, yeah. I mean, who if you don't see somebody that looks like you and talks like you, are you really gonna gravitate toward that person? Right. We can hire all the great white people that you want, man, but if them kids don't have a connection with you, it's gonna be hard to reach them. And you got some that do. And I go back to myself. We had, when I was coming up, before I moved to Hattiesburg Public Schools, I was out there in Forest County Public Schools. We had a teacher named Mr. Poe. Mr. Poe would make history come alive. And that was something that got me into going into history, political science when I went to college. So, you got some teachers that reach them, but those kids really want somebody that looks like them. It's amazing to me, especially at the school that I'm at, because it's predominantly Hispanic and white. I have a few black children, but those few black children gravitate to me so much because I look like them, and they've never seen anything like me in their education ever. They've always had either a white woman or a black woman, or a white man, and sometimes barely a white man. But like I say, they want to see somebody that looks like them, that talks like them. My kids, I wear bow ties and dress shirts and slacks and nice shoes. And so they're like, Mr. Gone, why you always look like you going to church? I tell them you got to dress for the job that you want, man.
Right.
And I don't mind, what I'm saying? I don't mind catching a couple Jones from some young kids just to show them that, these shoes cost more than your whole outfit, young man. Just want to let you know. But if you want these kind of shoes, or if you want to even dress like this, man, you can do that. And there's nothing wrong with that. And they need to see that. They love Barack Obama, but they don't want to dress like him. They want to dress like Quavo. So you got to meet them like Quavo, but introduce them to Barack.
Right. Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
And
you know, we have mentor programs that we start. Like I was telling you the other day, my guy out of Atlanta, shout out to Jermaine Clark, man. I'm a father first out of Atlanta, man. If y'all in the Atlanta area and you listening to this, check my man out. Cause I mean, he's doing all kind of stuff. He giving haircuts. They teaching these young men how to dress, how to do interviews. If they don't have fathers, then they do everything that the father should do for them. They go to their games. They make sure they get to school. And you know, I was talking to him. He wanted to do the podcast, but it was short notice. But we also got the talking. He was like, man, I want you to start one in Memphis. But I got a lot on my plate right now. But we'll talk about that, though, Jermaine. We're going to talk about that, man. But there's a lot of mentor programs out there, but we need to start more. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, no doubt. And, you know, speaking of, you know, programs and, you know, mentoring and, you know, giving back, you know, I couldn't do this with you without, you know, bringing up what the hottest topic right now as far as education is going, and that's the LeBron James I Promise School that he just opened.
Oh yeah, magnificent, man. That's magnificent.
Now, I'm gonna read off, you know, some of the things that they offer, and you know, just give me your feeling towards this, and how it is juxtaposed to what you saw at Hawkins and what you seeing now. So the LeBron James I Promise School, they offer free tuition, free uniforms, a free bicycle and helmet, free transportation within 2 miles, free breakfast, lunch, and snacks, a food pantry for families, GED and job placement services for parents, and guaranteed tuition to the University of Akron for every student who graduates. That's outstanding.
Boy, listen, man. That's that to me. That's amazing, man. I mean, you know, the free food, the free lunch, the free breakfast, the bicycles for the kids, the free transportation to get in there, even help your parents get the GED if they don't have it. I wanted all of that for Hawkins. I'm gonna paint a picture for you. That old gym that's sitting right across from Hawkins is just sitting there. I used to sit out there and do the car pull-ups all the day. And I'm just looking at this building like, why are we sitting on this building? Why hasn't somebody renovated this building out so we can put classes or you can either put a gym in there. You can put another gym in there, new gym floor or whatever. But do something with it that we can bring this community in, because that community was collapsing and everything in it, you know, it was impeding on the school, you know. But we sit up there looking at buildings that's just sitting there that could be renovated and used for some good. You know, you could get grown-ups in there and have GED classes. You know, they could do that right there in Hattiesburg. But, you know, the powers that be want to do other things, like let it sit there and rot. But going back to the LeBron James School, man, I think it's excellent. I think it's bar none. Athletes and multimillionaires put their money together in the public school arena, not the private sector, not the charter sector, but the public school arena. And, you know, I just think it's great, man. I also read up on the Jalen Rose School, and his is a high school. And I didn't know that, you know. His is a high school, and they are really getting those kids ready to go off to college. And that's an achievement as well.
Yeah. Let me tell you what I do like about the Jalen Rose Academy, man. You know, when they created that school back in 2011, I believe, the objective was to reduce, you know, dropout rates and raise test scores. They wanted the average ACT score to be 21, and you know they had, you know, their share of problems that all, you know, things like that have, but they persevered through that. But the one thing about them that stuck with me was their motto, which was, "We don't create students, we cultivate scholars."
Yeah, that's, I saw that.
You know, that's awesome to me, man.
Yeah,
you know, that mindset. And you know, I do like the fact that, you know, they are dealing with high school children, getting them to college, and even helping them, you know, post high school. I also like the fact that, back to LeBron, that they're doing, third and fourth grade, because that is very critical. You know, now they're both doing the dirty work as far as combating the school to prison pipeline
Mm-hmm.
that we know about, that I've talked about. Like, do you see um not the after effects? Well, more likely, do you see like things that occur on a day to day basis that, whether it be from administrators or whatever, that gives validity to the thought of the school to
Oh
prison
yeah,
pipeline?
oh yeah. You take that third and that fourth grade is highly tested. It's a tested areas grade, mostly by literacy. Okay, so once they
Right,
test those kids, those numbers go into how they gonna make the prisons, how many beds they gonna go for the prisons. But you actually do see that student. They either hold them back. You got some schools that hold them back. You got some schools that sweep them under the rug and let them go. But the one that they sweep up under the rug and let go, by fifth grade, they not doing no work. You can't almost read. You have to really, really deep down and find those children and sit them down and make them do work, because they quit. They give up. And you see it. You can tell the ones that are low scoring, they give you the most trouble in those classrooms because they can't do the work. And if you can't do the work, what you gonna do while you sitting there for 5-6 hours? Misbehave.
right,
So yeah, you see it. You see it on a day-to-day basis. And so we try to target that third and fourth grade. I'm glad that I have a third grade teacher at my school who has all her students mastered in mathematics, English, and science. I got a great crop in this year. I mean, I'm knocking on wood, and I hope that I don't mess it up.
right,
But I got a great crop this year. So hopefully, I'm not gonna say this year gonna be a breeze, because no teacher has a breezy year. I don't care what they take. Ain't no school year gonna be a breeze year. But I got some kids that actually know what they're doing, and I got one or two that I can pull along that's not getting it. And that's easier to manage when you're dealing with like 18, 19 children in the classroom. If you got 11 of them
right,
that's under par, and like 5 of them that's mastered, and the other one's middle, you got a lot of work on your hands. But when
right.
you're dealing with lower numbers, 2 or 3, you can pull those to the side and let the other do independent work and reach them like that.
No doubt. So, but before I let you go, man, I just want to open up, the floor to you to say whatever, you need to say to some of the parents, who may be listening, who may be lacking on doing what they supposed to do as far as, working with teachers, or, just say whatever it is that you feel like you need to say for the parents to hear that the teachers, expect and need from
Well,
them.
I
So,
would hope that they would take my words as somebody that's pointing the finger at them. I'm actually pointing the finger to them and asking them to come on in. We have to open up communications between educators and parents. That's the only way that this thing is gonna shake. It's the only way it's gonna move forward. I would encourage all my parents to be active at your child's school. Show up for PTA. Call the teacher. Get to know them when they go to register. Get to know their teacher. Get the teacher's number. Y'all have a conversation. You know, you want that teacher to feel like they can trust you, and you want to be able to trust their teacher with your child. If you value your child getting a great education, everybody wants to film their child walking across stage or film their child getting an award, but nobody wants to sit down with the teacher and help their child get the best award. Everybody
right,
gives out awards anyway, because we all do this inclusive thing that everybody gonna get an award. So that's cool, even though little Johnny or little Amy not getting what she's supposed to get in the classroom, and she still or he's still a little demon. He's still gonna get an award at the end of the year, and we have to stop that. We got to start awarding success and expecting our kids to be successful instead of just trying to put a band-aid on a bullet wound. And so I would ask for those parents and I would ask for those teachers to not be so dismissive. We got a lot of teachers that they come up like, I don't want to deal with this mama because she ghetto. Okay, she may be ghetto. You still got to teach that child. So you need to get over yourself and talk to their parent and find some common ground so y'all can help their child. It's about the children. It ain't about us. We grown. We can get our money if we want it. That child needs to have the tools so they can be successful. And that would be all I would say to that effect. Also, I would like to say donate, man. Donate your time, donate to charity. These public schools need supplies, they need funds, they need whatever you can give. I mean, if it ain't but a quarter, give that, you know? You want, if you're gonna drop your child off at the school, when you want that school to look great and have the things that your child needs. So, you know, think about that much when you doing registration this year. I hope everybody has a great school year. I hope that what I said is helpful and informative. I'm gonna thank you, TK, Black with No Chasing, Shade and Shit Talk. Man, you're doing just incredible work, man. And you know, you guys need to be applauded for that. The community is growing, and it's a blessing, man.
I appreciate it, man. You know, we all about, you know, improving and educating and enlightening, and you know, just we all about, you know, our people, man. And that's why, you know, I do the things that I do. That's why, you know, my boy CJ and the rest of the Black with No Chaser family do the things that they do. That's why my boy James Betts over at Sip Culture do what he does. That's why Ned Smith and Twin Forks Rising doing what they doing, and so many more, you know, out here fighting the good fight to improve the situation through education, whether it's financial, whether it's, you know, physical and mental health, all the way across the diaspora. And I appreciate you, man. I appreciate, you know, all teachers, you know, especially the Black male teachers, because quite honestly, man, y'all like, you know, like damn unicorns and leprechauns, man. You know, like y'all rare, man. And we as a community need to get behind y'all and help y'all with whatever it is y'all need to get what y'all need to done.
Yeah. Now I will say this: it's some that are getting into the elementary education field, and I think we need to do more to promote that degree, be it scholarship, be it, you know, whatever, philanthropy, whatever. We need to promote that. Let our young Black men know, hey, it's an education field for you. It may not pay well, but if you do the work and you move some stuff, then we can get some people in office that'll get us higher money. So, you know, with prayer, anything is possible, man.
Anything is possible. Ladies and gentlemen, my guy, my boy, you know, I've been knowing him for a long, long time. Mr. Jason Goins, bro, I appreciate you stopping by. Much luck to you on the school year, and I thank you for coming through for me, man.
Okay, anytime, man, anytime. Hopefully next time we get on here, we get to talk about some real sports, man.
Oh, no doubt, man, no doubt. So the door is always open, man. Anything, you know, you need from me, man, any drives and anything you got coming up, you let me know. You know, we here, bro. We all about helping our people.
I sure will, man. Thank you so much for having me.
No doubt.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gather around for this week's episode of Colonizer Nonsense. This week's first Colonizer Nonsense moment takes us to Minneapolis, Minnesota, where when hundreds were protesting and marching in downtown Minneapolis, calling for justice after police footage was released in the murder of Thurman Blevins, a lady decided that she had to hop off the train because she wanted to simply go home. Well, in doing so, she got her ticket punched twice. She walked up to a protester and snatched this lady's sign, and when she did that, her ass got a 2-piece spicy no weight. Talk shit, get hit. Now, this lady, I don't know her name, don't really care for her name, but I will say this, she just won herself a full ride scholarship to Demhans University. My next Colonizer Nonsense moment is an oldie but goodie, so I had to revisit it. Now, last week I told you about the white Ohio contractor who followed the brother home off the highway, repeatedly calling him nigga. Well, he's back this week, and he's still with that nonsense. So, right now he is saying that the negative reaction towards him has affected his business, Uriah's Heating, Cooling, and Refrigeration. He says, and I quote, "I'm out of business, I'm completely out, I'm done, I'll never work in Columbus again. This has completely and thoroughly ruined my life." No, you completely, thoroughly, and ruined your life by being a racist idiot. Don't get mad now. See, that's the shit I be talking about. Just like the lady from the previous story who played the victim after she snatched these people's signs. Now this motherfucker is playing victim. No, you did it. You live with it. That is yours. So, anyways, he told the publication that people shared pictures of him online, that his business was left with hundreds of negative reviews on Yelp. Oh, and don't forget the BBB trashed his ass too. So Whitman also went on to further say that he isn't a bigot. What he said was a mistake and that he was confused by people's responses. You what? He said, and I quote, "I just don't understand the intensity of the hate." Well, understand the intensity of unemployment, you motherfucker. And finally, hold up.
This is probably going to be and I'm gonna say this at this table, the most pro-black president that we've had in our lifetime, because, and I try to, analyze the people that I encounter. This president actually wants to prove something to our community, our faith-based community and our ethnic community.
Negro, please.
How, Sway? How? I mean, look, man. First of all, I know this dude black, but if this ain't no colonizer nonsense, I don't know what is. First of all, how you saying that this dude is for black people when this motherfucker has been sued by the Department of Justice before for racial discrimination when it comes to housing? How's that for black people? Let's move forward. How's he for black people when he is single-handedly trying to destroy every single program that is designed to help blacks and people of color? How? How is he for black people? Think about it. These motherfuckers are trying to come back with these draconian drug laws. They are gutting the public school systems in favor of charter schools. And who does that affect? Black kids. Now, we just talked about this, in an earlier segment with my boy Jason Goins. Shout out to my boy Jay. So please tell me, you boot-licking son of a bitch, how is this dude for black people? You ought to be ashamed of yourself, man. You and the rest of those coons that's sitting right up there with him. John Gray, definitely disappointed. I mean, come on, man. Y'all know he playing y'all, and yet y'all still take y'all asses right up in there and get played for idiots. So y'all deserve whatever vitriol and hate y'all get, because you should know better. This week's hip-hop history moment starts us off celebrating the August 1st, 1960 birth of Mr. Carlton Douglas Rittenhauer, better known as Chuck D. He is an author, rapper, and producer, and he was the leader of the rap group Public Enemy. This man helped create politically and socially conscious hip-hop music in the mid-'80s and in the 90s. Now, About.com had him ranked at number 15 on their list of all-time top 50 MCs, while The Source ranked him at number 12 on their list of top 50 hip-hop lyricists of all time. Signed by Rick Rubin to Def Jam label, they went on to drop quite a few albums. Yo Bum Rush the Show, 1987. It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back in 88. Fear of a Black Planet in 1990. Apocalypse 91. The Enemy Strikes Back, 1991. Great Misses, 1992. And Music in Our Mess Age, 1994. They also released a full-length album for the soundtrack of He Got Game back in 1988. Now, Chuck D is still politically active. He co-hosted Unfiltered on Air America Radio. He has testified before Congress in support of peer-to-peer MP3 sharing, and he was involved in quite a few rap political conventions. He continues to be an activist, a publisher, a lecturer, and a producer. He addresses the negative views associated with rap music through his writing. He co-wrote an essay book called Fight the Power, Rap, Race, and Reality, along with Yusef Jah. In his book, Chuck D argues that music and art and culture is escapism, and escapism sometimes is healthy for the people to get away from reality. But sometimes the distinction is blurred, and that's when things could lead a young mind in a direction. Now, as much as Chuck D is an advocate for rap, he has also been one of his greatest critics. Back in 2008, Chuck D stated that rap is devolving so much into a commercial enterprise that the relationship between the rapper and the record label is that of a slave to a master. He also believes that nothing has changed for African Americans since the debut of Public Enemy, and although he thinks that Obama was good, he does not feel that the establishment will allow anything of substance to be accomplished. So happy birthday, Chuck D. This is the man that taught us to fight the power, and he made us believe, and we now see that 911 is a damn joke. In other hip-hop news, YG is gearing up for the release of his highly anticipated album, Stay Dangerous, but that doesn't mean that the Compton native doesn't have time to give back to his community. Ahead of his upcoming release, Mr. 400 made a sizable donation to help young women interested in coding have a competitive edge in the rising industry. On Wednesday, YG donated $150,000 to startup company Girl Code LA, which works to develop more opportunities for female coders. That's huge. Big shout out to YG. You know, we all appreciate the charity that's being done by all of these entertainers, these athletes. You know, big shout out. While doing this, he talked to TMZ, and during the ceremony, he said this: "I'm about to go give this big check away to Girl Code. I got a daughter. I'm practicing on how to be a good dad right now. This for the G Code." I mean, you know, hey, shout out YG for doing your thing, man. You know, that's big of you. And I'm glad you practicing on how to be a dad, my nigga. In my final hip-hop moment, I want to send a shout-out to your boy Drake, the Sixth God. Last night, he dropped the In My Feelings video, and it's got the internet going crazy. My timeline going crazy. Facebook, IG, Twitter, everybody's talking about it. You know, shout-out to him, especially for having Felicia Rashad on there. Man, I love that woman. Been loving that woman before I knew what love was. You know, also shout out to Drake for putting that boy Shiggy, who created that whole hysteria with the Shiggy challenge, or whatever you want to call it, Kiki challenge. So Drake showed him love, cut him a check, put him in the video. You know, a bunch of people in the video. You know, it's lined with celebrities. So big ups to him. He started making moves. You know, I guess we can say he definitely didn't take that L from Pusha T, because that nigga is steady getting them coins.
Even though the NFL kicked off its preseason featuring the Chicago Bears and the Baltimore Ravens in the Hall of Fame game, well, first of all, fuck the Hall of Fame for the way they do it, my boy T.O., but that's another story. I cannot start off the sports without talking about LeBron James opening his I Promise School. Now this school is giving away free uniforms, free bikes, free helmets, food pantry for struggling parents. It's also giving opportunities for parents to get their GEDs in order to have a better life for themselves and their kids. So shout out to LeBron James for doing that, as well as shout out to Derrick Rose for giving away $400,000 to establish 1 full and 2 partial scholarships each year with the Derrick Rose Scholarship. Now, back to football. Let me start off with Jameis Winston. This has been a rough start to the football season for Jameis Winston. On yesterday, he got dropped by Nike. Well, not really dropped. Rather, they decided not to renew his contract for this season. So anyways, tough start for him. After getting suspended by the NFL for the first 3 games of the season for violating the league's personal conduct policy for allegedly groping a female Uber driver back in 2016. Nike decided, we ain't fucking with you either. This just goes to show you that 1, what being a dumbass will get you, and 2, keep your goddamn hands to your goddamn self. In other football news, EA Sports that found itself in trouble with what they did on Madden. Now, for those of you who don't know, Madden is a football game. It comes out every year, and thousands and thousands and thousands of people buy this game, myself included. Well, on this version of Madden, on the soundtrack, Big Sean was on the song Big Bank with YG, and EA decided to delete a line, well, not really a line, but delete the reference of Colin Kaepernick from Big Sean's verse. And it was spotted, and it was blasted all over Twitter, with Colin's girlfriend Nessa blasting their ass as well, asking who told him to do that. Also, Big Sean chimed in and said that he nor anyone on his team approved of that happening. In response, a quick response, I might add, EA apologized and said it was a misunderstanding and stated that it would be fixed on an August 6th update. So we'll see how that goes. Now, also, well, it's not football, but it's football related, and I'll tell you how. Blake Griffin was in the news recently, and it said that he was paying child support of $258,000 a month, which equates to $3.1 million a year. Now, when it first broke, first thing in my mind was, what the fuck are these kids need that's going to cost $3.1 million a year? And people say, well, they do this because the kids should have the same life that their daddy can give them. But if that's the case, send their ass to their goddamn daddy, because I can't pay $258 a month even if I had it. Well, anyway, it came out that it was false. And the amount that he's actually paying is $32,000 a month. And shit, that's still a lot of bread, but I understand. Now, Blake, he has 2 kids with this woman, ages 5 and 1. So he will be kicking in that bread for a long, long time. Now, his baby mama, her name is Cameron, by the way, also has a son by former NFL quarterback Matt Leinart. Man, she is the finesse queen. Now, when it comes to sports, man, fuck Bo Jackson. This bitch knows.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Shade and Shit Talking. As always, I appreciate you stopping by, listening to me rant and rave and go on about the things that I love, hate, and everything in between. Special shout out to my boy Jason Goins for coming by and blessing us with his knowledge and showing us his desire and passion that he has for teaching and guiding these kids. We all know that it's a thankless job that these teachers do, and they need our support, they need our encouragement, they need our respect. So please, get out, help your kids' teachers to help your kids, please. Shout out to all teachers, male and female, but especially male, because like I said earlier, they're like unicorns and leprechauns. You know, they really don't exist as far as we're concerned. So shout out to the ones that get out there and grind and do what they do for our children. Big shout out, much respect, much love. For all my people from Mississippi who's listening to the podcast, make sure this Sunday night you check out my boy James Betts and the Sip Culture Facebook Live video series. You can also check him out on Instagram at Sip Culture, as well as our Facebook page, Sip Culture. Speaking of culture, make sure you follow us, Black with No Chaser, on Facebook. Like, follow, share the page as always. You can find us on Instagram at Black with No Chaser. You can also find us on Twitter, Black No Chaser, as well as YouTube, IGTV, all of that coming up soon, website coming soon. Make sure you follow, like, and share the MMIG Facebook page. It's Melanated Millennials Investment Group, also on Instagram, where you can learn valuable information on how to get, grow, and keep this money. I'll see you all next week.
Oh, thank you.
The podcast you just heard was published with Anchor. Got something you want to say to the creator of this show? Send them a voice message using the Anchor app, free for iOS and Android.